All right, everybody. This is the iBUG Buzz conference call for Monday, June 28, 2021. Welcome, everybody who has called in, and also those that are listening to the playback of this recording. I'm Keith Pevoto. I will be your host tonight along with Sandhya. This is a question and answer help session for everything iOS, especially VoiceOver and related devices such as the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Apple Watch, and Apple TV. We also talk about the various accessories that will work with these iDevices. This call is being recorded, so we ask everybody when they are not asking a question or making a comment, please stay on mute. This call is being recorded for our podcast, which you can find on any of the app catchers, or any of the podcast catchers, as well as archived on our website, ibugtoday.com. You can also go to YouTube. You can now search for iBUG, and that will take you to the iBUG channel. Be sure to subscribe there. That way you get the notices when any new content is loaded up. Also, Sight and the Sound uses clips of this recording to replay for a radio show during the week, and we definitely appreciate that. There are several ways you can mute depending on what device you are using. If you're on the iPhone, using the Zoom app at the lower left-hand corner, you will find a mute toggle. You can double tap it to toggle it on and off. The iPad is similar. You will find the mute button at the top center. Again, it's a toggle on and off that you can double tap. The Mac, you can press Command-Shift-A to toggle mute on and off. And if you are on mute on your MacBook, you can press down and hold the space bar, and that will unmute you while you are holding the space bar down. As soon as you release it, you will be on mute again. And also on the PC, you can hit Alt-A. With that, we will go ahead and go to the iBUG guy himself. He will tell us about a few upcoming training and social events that we have here at iBUG. Michael, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you,
All
Keith. All right. Welcome, everyone, again. This week we've got another packed week of things going on, starting tomorrow, Tuesday, the 29th, at 5 p.m. Central Time. And this will be on our on the Clubhouse app, on the iBUG Today Club. We have our iBUG Mini Buzz. Very similar format as this call tonight. It's just a shorter version of that. Open Q&A help session there. So if you're on Clubhouse, please join us for that, for your iOS questions and issues. Then Thursday, we have the iBUG Trekkie Talk. I can't talk now. Anyway, iBUG Trekkie Talk. We are watching the Star Trek Discovery series, and we're just beginning season 2 of that. So we'll be discussing the first 2 episodes. People are watching those ahead of time, and then coming and discussing those audio described episodes of Star Trek Discovery. That's 8 p.m. Central Time, Thursday evening on this very same Zoom channel. Then Friday night is our Friday night at the virtual movies. And we've got another fun movie for you this week. Join us for the pre-movie social at 7:30 p.m. And then the movie will start around 8, and stick around for a discussion afterwards. Saturday, we have another social type event. And again, it'll be back on Clubhouse. This is our iBUG Unplugged program. And that is Saturday, the 3rd, July 3rd at 8 p.m. Central on Clubhouse. And the topic there will be what I wish I knew when I was younger. Looking at different things that life events that maybe we could have avoided, or things that if we'd have known that we could have taken advantage of. So that ought to be a fun time to get to talk with other iBUG members and friends to get to know each other a little better there. 8 p.m. Central Time. And then next week we'll be back here just to let everybody know, just in case you were wondering. Yeah, even though it's a federal holiday next Monday, we will be here for our regular iBUG Buzz Monday night. And to find out more about us, you can always go to our website. Keith mentioned ibugtoday.org, and there all of these announcements and much, much more can be found. Also, we have a Facebook groups page, facebook.com/groups/iBUG Today. And that's always a good place to get questions answered in between these Monday night calls. Also, various announcements and other tech-related information is there. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our handle there is @iBUGToday. And lots of good information about the Apple world is tweeted and retweeted out, and other tech-related information that would be of interest to our members is sent out there by our Twitter master, Herbie. So those are the announcements for this week, and I'm going to turn it back over to Keith.
All right. Thank you, Michael. So are we having virtual fireworks next Monday?
Of course, lots of
All
virtual
right.
fireworks. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, yeah, as far as the movie, stick around for halftime show. We'll, as usual, be giving out clues to what our movie is going to be this Friday night.
Outstanding. I know everybody's itching for that. Right now, we'll go ahead and go around, introduce yourself and where you're from. And if you're new to the Buzz, go ahead and say that you're new, and we'll come back to you and ask you a few questions. And I'll go ahead and start it off. Keith Pevoto, and I'm in Austin, Texas.
This is Herbie in Houston, and I am not new to the Buzz.
Susan from Houston.
This is Dee from Southern Illinois, and I think I know what the movie's going to be.
Gary Hogan, San Antonio.
Ibrahim from Boston.
Dan from San Diego.
This is Ned from Kyle, Texas.
This is Suva from Houston.
Jody from New Hampshire.
Anyone else?
Eva, Missouri City.
Sandhya
from Springfield, Virginia.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We had Sandhya and then Tree.
Yep.
Currently unmuted.
This is Nancy from Plymouth, Mass.
All right.
Dana.
This is Ibrahim. Just want to let you know that I have a different name up there by accident.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. And Mr. Dana?
Dana in Cincinnati, and I am on the edge of my seat for halftime show.
I know you are.
Way to go, Mr. Dana. This is Michael in Houston.
Anybody else?
Audio
Elisa and Porter.
Mute my audio. Mute my audio.
Hello, Elisa.
Hi, this is Carol in San Antonio.
Hello, Carolyn.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, it's Nancy from Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Yes.
Nicolette Noyes has joined the meeting.
It's Dave from Houston.
All right. Sounds like we have a good crowd. I did not hear any new users. Are there, any new callers? Are there any new callers? One last chance. Any new callers?
Niki just came in. Hi.
Has Nancy
right.
called into our Monday night calls before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Usually I don't get here till later though.
No, I was asking about Nancy.
All right.
Okay. Sorry. Anyway.
All right. So just to remind everyone, please stay on mute when you are not speaking, when you're not asking a question or making a comment. And we do highly encourage everybody to ask any questions and make comments to the questions that are being asked. Just to let you know, we do not use the hand raising feature. So what you'll do is just wait and find a little gap in the question, in the conversation, state your name and wait for one of us to call on you. And as soon as Sandhya or myself calls on you, we will give you the floor and you can ask your question or make a comment. Like I said, if not, please stay on mute. And Sandhya does reserve the right to eject you. And she's the bad one, I'm the nice one. So I'll probably just give you a warning. But with that being said, let's go ahead and start. Who has the first question? Usually the first 45 minutes we'll keep to beginning and novice type questions and then go from there. So who has the
Jody?
first question? Go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, I just wanted to welcome Nancy. Nancy from Plymouth. I don't think she was called in before. She's a neighbor because I'm in New Hampshire where it was 97 degrees today.
All right. Well, if Nancy would like to say something.
Currently unmuted.
Well, hi, Jody. Yeah, it was all a balmy 93 here.
So Nancy, are you new to the buzz?
Pretty new. I've sort of been in the background. I've come in
Okay.
late in the past.
Okay. Very good. Do you have a question? Would you like to answer since you're here early?
No, I think I'll sit back and see what everybody else has. Thank
All
you.
right. Fair enough. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. First question, anyone?
This is Dan.
I heard Ibrahim first. Go ahead, Ibrahim.
Okay, so I have put a quick question about Facebook. I've noticed recently, whenever anything happens on Facebook, like somebody posts a new post or any other thing happens on Facebook, I get emails about it, and I haven't found a way to turn that off, like getting email notifications from Facebook.
Very good question. Would anybody like to help Ibrahim out? It is buried, Ibrahim, and I'll let someone else talk about it if somebody has a solution for Ibrahim.
Just to add, I did go into settings and try to turn it off, but it wouldn't let me uncheck it, even if it was that light
really?
setting. Yes, I don't know if
Jody?
I'm not doing light or not.
Go ahead, Jody.
I think there should be an opt-out at the bottom of the message. They're actually required to be opt-outs at the bottom of emails from groups like that.
I've tried that. It still comes back. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but thanks.
I'm not sure.
Well,
Probably
if
in your
nobody-
Facebook settings.
Yeah, it's buried in there, and sounds like Ibrahim, you've been down there. I will. If nobody else has anything, I will, after the call, go in there and check myself, and I will send you a message because I know I was getting a lot of notifications there for a while, and I had to go in and uncheck some of that stuff, and it's down there. They just don't.
What the specific place in Facebook you went to, Key?
Say that again.
What the specific setting you went to find it? Because I'm not finding what you're talking about in Facebook.
Yes, it was buried down there. It was in the menu at the far
Okay.
right, if you tap into that and then
Uh-huh.
swipe up, it's I want to say it says settings. I'll have to go back and
Okay.
I mean, you have to go through 2 or 3 screens to get there. And
Okay.
so they don't make it exact. So I want to go back and just double check before I say anything.
Okay. Maybe you can post it later on Facebook or tomorrow if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Great question. Yeah, these new updates, they've gone crazy with the notifications. And if you don't opt out of the emails or the notifications, any groups that you're a part of or even people, man, they will flood your email and your notifications. So I will definitely post that to the Facebook group.
Elisa?
Oh,
Go ahead,
this is
Lisa.
Sandhya. No, this
Susan.
is Sandhya. I think we have Dan before that.
Okay, yes, Dan.
Okay, this is Dan. I have a question
Hi, Dan.
regarding the app Voice Stream Reader. Will that app handle DAISY files? Can you import DAISY files into Voice Stream Reader and translate? Will DAISY files work with Voice Stream Reader?
All right, good question. Does anybody have an answer for Dan?
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
Yeah, provided it's not a protected DAISY file, VoiceStream should be able to read it.
Oh, good. All right. Well, great, because I'm going to...
And I believe in the app description, it mentions all the file types it can handle. So you could definitely double check there, but I believe it can handle most DAISY formats, provided they're not protected in some way.
Okay. Well, good deal. Thank you.
Very good. Easy one.
Susan?
Well, I think we had Elisa first, and then we'll come back to you, Susan.
No problem. Thanks.
Elisa?
Elisa?
All right, go ahead, Elisa.
So I noticed whenever I am sending a message with Siri with new iOS 14.6 that it cuts off easily. It doesn't send it all the way. Like it'll make a beep and then it'll say, "This is what you sent." I don't know if anybody else has seen that with Siri.
Oh, yeah. I have a good solution for you, but does anybody else have the same issue with Siri and a solution for Elisa? Anyone?
Currently unmuted.
Yes,
Mute my audio.
Who is this?
Nancy.
Go ahead, Nancy.
So this has been an ongoing
I
thing
believe
for
Kathy has
me.
joined the meeting.
And when Siri cuts me off, I just say add. And then I have a he, Siri's a he for me, but he will add to my dictation. And then if he continues to cut me off, I just keep saying add, and he will continue adding to my message.
This is Herbie.
Very good. Go ahead, Herbie.
Wouldn't it be easier for you guys, instead of using Siri, why not just use dictation? Does that cut you off?
Well, let's talk about Siri first. Elisa, one solution I have, and for everybody, and definitely the add feature, the add is great, and I do use it sometimes. But what you can do is hold down your home button or your side button, whichever you use, whichever phone you have, to activate Siri. You can hold that button down and say, text Elisa, and instead of releasing it and then telling Siri, text Elisa, just keep the button held down, say text Elisa, and then say your message, and then release the button. And that way your whole message will come across, and you'll have a lot better chance at getting your message across to her that way. And yes, Herbie, that's a great suggestion. If those aren't working, you can always go into your messages and use dictation, but kind of with the Siri, I understand you're trying to cut out some of the process there, but definitely anytime you're using Siri, you can hold down the button and tell her everything you want to before you release a button. And 99.9% of the time, that will work. Lisa, does that answer your question?
Elisa,
Go ahead, Lisa.
that answers my question. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, that's been going on for a while. And it's been so long now, I don't even remember how long I've been doing that. Anyway, let's move on. Go ahead, Susan.
Yes, good evening. My question is, I use the voice stream scanner and voice stream reader, but mostly the scanner. I just love it. But the problem I'm having, and someone else noticed it as well, is that like I have received a new credit card, and the new ones that's coming out, they don't have like the card number, expiration date, and on the back the code number anymore. But yet they have all that information on the back for some weird reason. But either the scanner or reader, would say the scanner, for example, it'll read all those numbers nonstop, like someone not taking a breath. And I'm like, wait a minute, which one is the 16-digit credit card number? Which one is the expiration date? And which one is the 3-digit code number? So I've done it a lot of times. I played it to a friend of mine several times, and we're like, we don't know. So has anyone run into this problem or any other apps that may read it?
That's a good question.
Line
Does
by line?
anybody have any good solutions for Susan in reading one of the new credit cards?
Eva?
Jody?
Go ahead, Eva.
I had the similar problem before, but what I did was I used Ira, and to me that's more secure because they tell you exactly what it's supposed to be, and they have a contract says they can't use your information. So that's what I did solution instead of, or get like somebody you really trust that cited to read it for you, and you can write it down any way you want to. I put mine in Braille because it's just safer that way. If you're using a scanner app, you're going to get mixed up on where the numbers are.
Well, yeah, I just have it read it for me. And then what I do is after I get the info, I put it in notes. I also record it on my tape recorder as well for backup. But I thought about Ira, but I was kind of leery about it, having strangers read it. But
Susan, let me give you one tip about if you're going to put it in notes, make sure maybe put 4 digits, skip a line, put the next 4 digits, skip a line, put the next 4 digits, or do something to break up that number just in case they are data mining or notes. That way they don't come across your credit card number and pull it out. Just thought there. But Jody, did you have something?
Yeah, I was going to suggest that you go to, if you're looking at anything that you scan in VoiceStream Scanner, if you go to the bottom of the page, one of the options you have is to look at the whole page instead of just listening to it read. And when you go down to that option, I can't remember what it says, but it's read text or see text or whatever. If you go to that option, you can move your finger around the page and you can select the things that you want it to read individually, one by one, and you can do character by character and that sort of thing. So you have a lot more control over what you're looking at. And also, as far as Ira goes, I think their people are bonded, so that's pretty secure.
Yeah, I may have to try them. Yeah, because I tried it the way, because I tried it the way you said, but it didn't work for me. In fact, at that time, it just says one word and nothing else. So anyway, I'll just have to contact Ira.
Susan, another.
One letter,
anyway, thank
one
you.
Character at a time.
This is Ruby.
Thanks.
Susan, another solution I was thinking about is if Ira's not available or you don't have anybody near you, you can always FaceTime somebody you trust and do it that way. I've done it that way a few times. Just some information I've FaceTime my mother and had her read it. So those
Oh
are
boy, your
several.
mom can have a real nice shopping day then.
This is Sandhya.
Not
Thank
she won't
you.
go far with my credit card. Go ahead, Sandhya, the last one. and we're
I
gonna
just,
move
well,
on.
I know Herbie had a comment. I just want to
Yeah.
remind people, please, when you ask a question or answering the question, let's let the person finish before you start talking, because when people are talking over each other, nobody can understand anything. And remember,
Right.
this is all being recorded. And if we asked a question, we should at least listen to the answer. So please give us that courtesy. Thank you so much.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Sandhya. All right.
Terry with a
Next,
question.
go ahead, Terry.
This is actually a Facebook question. Somebody had, she noticed that on online events, there are a lot of things where she used to see the description of each event, but all it says is test all across the screen. And then she brought it to my attention, and I noticed that since I don't, do a lot of it as of yet, but any of y'all have had the same situation, and how can you, is it part of the updates, or what's going on Facebook? Does anybody know?
Question. Events on Facebook. Anybody have any thoughts? Sounds like our screen reader's not reading the whole event page, possibly. I know there's been several things happen. One thing you can try, Terry, if you do pull up an event, find the description of the event and double tap it. Sometimes it'll take you into another page that has a lot more information. That's one solution, but I don't know that is 100%, but it's worth a try. But
Okay.
Anybody else with any ideas on events in Facebook?
And this is particularly online events. Not all the other events show up except whenever you do online
okay.
events, and it just says test across. You see the event, you see the schedule, but then you'll see just test. It's not describing as you just swipe and just go through the event page. And
So it's live events.
Well, these are events that some of these are actually scheduled in the future, but she wants to know what's she or I would want to know what each event was instead of just saying test on the screen for each event.
Right. Okay.
So
anybody with the experience there? If not, we'll have to table that and look into it.
Yes.
All right. Sounds like that's what we'll have to do, Terry. Yeah, we'll look into that.
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
Real quick, on Susan's last question, one suggestion I did have, which kind of builds on Jody's.
Hold on, Herbie. We've already moved on from that question.
But I had a comment, but I didn't get a chance to get it in, and then Sandhya had.
I understand. We're going to move on.
Okay, but I did not get a chance to get my comment. And
Next question. Thank you. Next question.
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
So I had an interesting experience, and I wanted to see if anyone else experiences. So I was on a phone call with someone, and while I was on the call, my voice call disconnected, my voiceover disconnected, and I could not get voiceover to come back on. Even after I rebooted the phone, voiceover didn't come back on, and I had to have my wife put in the passcode because voiceover wouldn't come on.
Wow.
And I was just checking to see if anyone experienced that.
And what phone, what iOS?
I'm running 14.6 on my 12 Pro Max.
Okay. Who had a comment?
Elisa.
Go ahead, Elisa.
Yeah, I noticed that too on my phone. And just like scared me because I was like, it's not even talking. Like, what's going on here?
Sri, were you on headphones by chance or without
No,
headphones?
I was actually just, I was just talking to Nancy, and all of a sudden I couldn't hear Nancy. She said she couldn't hear me, and then I had no voiceover assistance.
Wow.
So
Wow. That is interesting. Any thoughts, anybody?
This is Suva.
Terry Walker.
Go ahead, Suva, and then Terry.
Well, I'm not sure if this relates to this particular one where the voiceover just completely disappears. Recently, I was helping out another student where the voiceover was on, but basically what happened was the phone updated it to, I believe it was 14.6, but it went to factory settings where it asked you all the initial setup questions like your Wi-Fi password, everything else. Usually from my experience, they just update and it's automatic, done in the background. You don't get to, they don't ask you the what language and what's your Wi-Fi password, all of that other stuff. But this time this student had this issue. Even the voiceover was on, it wouldn't recognize continue or next. So we were kind of stuck. The voiceover was, is talking, it was switching to different settings. So we were using the gesture, but it wasn't accept any of our double clicks. So I don't know if that's the same thing, but you mentioned that you weren't able to hear voiceover at all. So that's kind of troubling. I was still able to hear voiceover. It wasn't just registering any of our commands. So yeah, I'm kind of puzzled by that.
All right, Terry, any thoughts?
Yes, and I mean, of course, if voiceover was completely off, you could always tap the power button 3 times to get it to come on, and then go through the screens and see if we could go past those setup screens, and then go from there. If you can, that would be a solution that you could look at, worth looking at.
So Sri, go ahead, Sri.
yeah, I was going to say, I tried asking Siri to turn on voiceover. I even tried hitting my side button 3 times. It would not engage. It was really hard. It was really, I didn't hear any haptic sound. It was just almost like my voiceover was completely disabled. And like I said, my wife was able to even enter the security code without a voiceover tap. It's almost like voiceover just turned off and wouldn't come
So
on.
she could see the screen when this happened.
Yes, all she could see is the thing on the screen, but I had I couldn't do anything. Like, she would enter stuff on the screen and it would move, but I could not re-enable voiceover till I rebooted and logged in with the passcode, and then I was able to engage
This
voiceover.
is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
Couple of thoughts I had. One thing to try, but first, this sounds like a similar problem to what several of us have been experiencing with our Apple Watches. And that's a little disturbing. One thing you could try is hooking your phone up to a computer. Do this while it's first working so it'll recognize your phone. And then if you have that issue, see if you can use the computer, PC or Mac, to turn on voiceover in the phone settings. The other thing I could think of is if you have a Bluetooth keyboard, maybe if nothing, I think the phone would still recognize it on startup. So if nothing else, maybe you could use that to enter in like the PIN just to get past the unlock screen. But that is a very disturbing thing that happened with your phone, and I'm a little I'm tempted to try it, but I need my phone right now, unfortunately, so just to see what would happen. But that is a little disturbing. The other thing too, I don't know if you're using a Siri voice or not, but I guess if you are, try using a non-Siri voice and see if that makes a difference.
Sri, you know what? It just sounds like it might be that you had the perfect storm. Everything had to line up for Siri not to work.
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Sri.
I mean, I think this is it's a rare thing because I've never experienced where I could not re-engage my phone.
Right.
This is almost like I needed a sighted person to tell me what was on the screen, because by that point, I ended up I couldn't even figure out how to reboot. So I did a forced reboot. And obviously when you do a reboot, it's going to require the password. And that's when I handed off the phone.
And that seems like what hung it up. Crazy stuff. One thing that, and this may not help at all, but one thing that I do every once in a while when the phone acts a little kooky is just plug it up to a power supply. And for whatever reason, it shakes something loose. But, that's just reaching for straws at that point. Well, thank you, Sri.
This is Dana.
This is Dan.
Go ahead, Dana. Go ahead, Dana, and then we'll get to Dan.
That the volume has happened to me. I mean, the speech has gone away for me before, and I've thought, what the heck is happening? And I've had to I've tried plugged in headphones or earbuds or whatever, and then wailing away at the volume. And that always seems to work for me. That may be an option for 3.
I was thinking kind of the same thing. That's why I was asking about the headphones. Go ahead, Dan.
Yes, a similar thing happened to me, and VoiceOver just crashed, and that's what I think happened with Shri. That's really unfortunate, but it's software, and that happens with me when it happened. Not really in this type of situation that Shri is talking about, but something to do with replying to an email. I just had to do a hard reset on the phone, and once I did that, then VoiceOver came on, and I had to enter my passcode like Shri did, and so forth.
Very good. Well, Shri, hopefully this is a once in a lifetime event.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Shri. Any new questions? Anyone? New question, comment, rumor, news, an app you use this week? Anyone? Sounds like somebody's trying to say something.
Elisa, can I ask a second question or do I have to wait?
Yeah, go ahead, Elisa.
So I noticed on Facebook when I was posting to iBUG's our group, it says host, and it says create an event, add more details to your event. Has anybody seen that or just me?
I think that's one of the options that you have is to create an event when you're making a post or creating a post. But anybody have any thoughts for Elisa? So Elisa, were you still able to make your post without creating an event?
Elisa, yes, I was, but it said create an event, so remind people, and I was like, why is it doing that if I never seen it do that before?
Yeah, I think that's just a new addition that gives you the option to create an event while you're creating the post.
Okay, I was like,
They've
what
just
is
added,
here?
yeah, I think they've just added a lot more to the actual create a post. Good question.
This is Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
I haven't been fooling around with Facebook lately. What do they mean by creating an event? What does that mean?
So it's just basically an announcement if somebody's going to have a show in town or something, that next Thursday, that they can create an event with what, when, and where, and post it, and people can respond to it that they're interested or going. And I believe now that in these groups, when you are creating a post, it is one of the options that you have in that while you're creating a post, that you can create an event.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And there's also event pages for stuff that they're doing actually on Facebook, like live events or whatnot. It's just basically just an announcement for everybody that an event is happening. Very good. New
This is
question.
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm wondering if anybody had noticed problems with dictation lately. I noticed that it's not working for me unless I use Bluetooth headphones for a quick dictation button, and I know it's working, but it does not make the little beep sound anymore unless I'm putting Bluetooth headphones.
This is Sri.
Interesting. Go ahead, Sri.
I'm hearing the sound indication. I hear it when it starts, and I hear when it stops, and I use dictation.
Anybody else have any experience with dictation not playing the sound?
Elisa,
Go ahead, Elisa.
I also hear it too, the same way that Shree's talking about. I also hear
Very
it too.
good.
It stops and it ends. I don't have no issues with the dictation. I use it all the time.
This
Very
is Sri.
good. Go ahead, Sri.
Abraham, do you know if you have your sounds turned off?
I don't think so, because I went to the sounds with somebody from Apple Accessibility, and they didn't find any sound for dictation off or on at all.
Okay. Ibrahim, you can also put sounds in your rotor just in case, just so you can toggle it on and off and see if that'll shake it loose. Another thing, I actually have the opposite problem. Sometimes when I have my Bluetooth headphones on, I'm not able to hear the chime of when dictation turns on. So it just might be an issue with dictation right now.
Okay, so but there's actually a sound for dictation that you can turn on in setting.
Yes, and if you go into voiceover settings, go to rotor, and sounds is one of the settings you can put into your rotor, and I have it in my rotor just for stuff like this. That if sounds are not working, then you can just toggle them all on and off and just see if that helps. Also, the other thing you might try is when you have dictation activated, just press your volume up and see if that shakes something loose.
So while I'm using it, I hit the volume up. Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, it's worth a try.
Okay, thanks. That's all good
All right.
suggestions.
This
Very
is Sri.
good.
Jody?
Go ahead, Sri.
One thing I also heard with iOS 15 is they're going to remove the time limit on dictation. So hopefully that'll come to fruition, so we don't have to get these dictations cut off after a certain amount of time.
Right, that'd be good. Jody, I think I heard you.
Yeah, I also wonder if you might accidentally have your mute button on. I've noticed when I'm using my Bluetooth headphones that sometimes I don't hear the opening tone for Siri. I hear the closing tone, but not the opening tone. And I'm very glad they're going to have that feature in iOS 15 where the dictate isn't limited.
Definitely, I'm with you, Jody. I have the same thing with Siri sometimes. All right, good question. Go ahead, Sri.
I was just going to ask Jody, do you know if you're using a Bluetooth 5 or is it an older version?
It's a new one. Yeah, it's a new one.
Yeah.
It's a 5.
I'm using a brand new one.
And it's just recent that this, I don't hear the beginning tone for Siri. But it's similar to what was described with dictation. You don't hear the beginning tones. Sometimes This is Jody again. Sometimes when I'm using dictate, I will stop it and it won't respond, so I have to start it and stop it again.
Very good. Sandhya, can you take over for a second? I need to
All
mute
right.
for a little bit.
Okay. Thank you. All right, guys. Somebody new have a question? Jody, you're coming a little bit low, so I don't know if you can get closer, if you're planning to. I just wanted to let you know. All right.
This is
Who's,
Sri.
yes, Sri, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is an inherent issue with Bluetooth. There's always sometimes a lag, and maybe that's what you're experiencing. So, this may be it may work sometime, may not work sometime because of the lag.
All right. Thank you, Sri. All right. Somebody new hasn't had a turn. Want to ask a question? This is your turn for you. New problems, new questions. I'm going to give everybody a chance. If
Jody,
not,
do I sound better?
yeah, that's a little better. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good. So I have a real quick question for you guys. My dad, who is 90 years old, is using his phone, his iPhone, I think it's an 11 Pro. So he is randomly calling people, like repeatedly. He doesn't know that he's calling people randomly. So I've been trying to troubleshoot this because he's, just calling me and my sister or my uncle. Everybody's like, and then he doesn't, like I said, it's going off accidentally while it's in his pocket. So far I have, it's like screen lock is on, automatic screen lock is on. So it turns off after 30 seconds. So it's not like it's on. I have turned off raised because he had raised to listen or whatever that raised to wake. That was on. I turned that off, but it's still going on. Any thoughts?
Jody.
Kathy.
Okay, Jody and then Kathy.
I suggest getting him a wallet case. That might just be the best solution. I've got a wallet case and I love it because it not only protects the phone, but then I don't have to worry about accidentally accessing the screen.
Okay, thank you, Jody. Kathy, what you got?
Well, I'm not quite sure what I'm thinking of, but this happened to me when I first got my phone. It was embarrassing because, of course, I went with my sister-in-law, so her number was the first number I had in. And it seemed like every time I squeezed the phone or something, it would say dialing, and then it would be. I must have called her, like 17 times the first week. I'm just wondering, so if you could be in a different app or something, so if you hit the phone, dial would not be the first thing it would do. Like, could he always
get to the home screen or something?
Yeah,
get
like
out of the phone
the
app.
home screen, right? So that you're not able to.
I don't even know if he knows how to do that. Maybe, maybe not. He probably does. He surprises me every once in a while. So, okay, that's a good idea because.
Elisa?
Because it can really be embarrassing. And the thing is, if you butt call somebody and continue talking,
I know. We could be butt dialing and talking about the person that you called, right?
It's horrible. That's right.
That's very possible. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy.
Terrible. I understand. I'm getting the shakes just thinking about it.
I'm just worried about him. He's going to do something. Okay, go ahead, Elisa.
Have you turned off the phone? This is Elisa. Sorry, I should announce myself.
Yeah. No, we haven't turned off the phone. I mean, because he wants to have it on. He needs to be able to. You mean like reset it or something? Reset it?
Yeah,
or?
like have y'all reset the settings? Have y'all took it somewhere? Because that similar situation that you're talking about happened to my dad also with his phone. And it still does it. It still calls people randomly. I'm like, what is going on here?
Okay. All right. We got some background noise. So just remember, everybody, master mute. Please try to minimize your background noise. Go ahead, Sri.
I'm back.
Okay. Go ahead,
Herbie.
Oh, sorry, Herbie. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Herbie.
Is your dad using voiceover?
No.
You know what? I wonder if what's happening. I wonder if he's dialing the numbers that like when you. Like if you miss a call or whatever, like some notifications can appear on the lock screen window.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
This is Sri.
Because, yeah, the phones are more sensitive when voiceover is not on.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Tree.
Do you know if your dad has set up speed dials?
No, because I would have done that and he doesn't. He didn't do that.
Sandhya, I might have missed it. Where is he
The
keeping
question-
his phone?
In his pocket, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
pocket.
So is the screen facing toward him?
I have no idea.
I'm just wondering if it's still getting some skin contact or thinking it's skin, because I've had different things. My finger go through a sheet to my phone, and it's like, whoa. And my mother does the same thing. She calls me and she says, I wasn't trying to call you. So it just, if he has it in his pocket and the screen's facing him, he might check that too, if it's just making contact somehow.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
This is
Very
Sri.
good. Go ahead, Sri. Go ahead, Sri, and we'll get to Kelsey.
Sandhya, have you ever observed this happening with your dad?
No, I've only been on the receiving end.
And he just said, I didn't mean to call you, right?
He doesn't even know that he's calling me. We just hear this random, either he's walking or walking the dog or whatever.
Do you know if he spoke with you prior to this happening? Were you the last person he spoke with prior to this?
I'm speculating. I have to do some testing. I don't know all the data, but
yeah, that'd be interesting. Homework.
Okay.
This is Niki.
Okay.
I think we had
Kelsey.
Kelsey and then Niki.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is kind of a long shot, but is there any chance that he may be inadvertently activating the hey, you know who feature, and she's inadvertently calling you? Because
What was the what feature? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Hey Siri.
Hey Siri.
Is there any possibility that he may I'm sorry, that he may be accidentally activating that, or it's somehow getting triggered and it's calling somebody? Because I know when I had my iPhone, what phone was that? I think it was my SE first generation, and then my iPhone 8.
Okay.
I had that issue where my phone would just randomly call people and I wouldn't even initiate it. And I found out that by turning off Hey Siri, that fixed the problem. So I'm wondering if he goes into his settings and he disables that, would that fix his problem?
No, you might just have to try to recreate it.
Yeah.
Do we have Nancy?
Niki.
Excuse me, Niki.
Oh, thank you. When I first got my my iPhone, I was doing that all the time, and I found that I was leaving it either on my contact page or with the person that I had just called. So I got into the habit of, when I finish a call, go back to the home page, and maybe it won't happen then if he can go back to the home page after every call. But also, is there speed dial on iPhones? Somebody mentioned that?
Sri, would you like to tell us about speed dial?
I thought there was speed dial for people that are not using voiceover. I could be wrong. That was just just kind of guessing on that aspect. Because I know typically phones do have a speed dial by holding the number down if you program it. But maybe the iPhones won't have it. It was just a guess.
Oh, fascinating. Thank you very much.
Sandhya, I do have a good fix for your dad.
Yes, sir.
A flip phone.
This is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
I know a long time ago they had a speed dial. I thought Sri was actually being facetious about the speed dial. I didn't know you could do that, but there used to be an app called Touchtone or something, and then you could have it on your home screen, a specific number that you called all the time. That's all I have. I think David.
Very good. All right. Next question.
This is Marty.
Go ahead, Marty.
Well, yeah, a comment on that. The speed dial was in the old Nokia phones, if you remember.
Yeah.
You had this. I just got my AirPods Max.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, has anyone tried to pair them, because I know a few people in the group have them, to like a Victor or another device other than Apple, because in the instructions on online it says to hold in the not the crown, but the button for like transparency or noise cancellation selection. Hold that button in until the light turns. But first of all, we don't know about the light. I tried that, and I tried pairing a Victor, the Victor Trek, and it didn't work.
AirPod users, any ideas?
Well, the AirPod Max specifically.
AirPod Max, there you go. Any ideas?
I'm on them now. How do they sound, by the way?
Oh, sound really good.
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
I know it can be done, but what I have heard from people with pairing with a non-Apple device, like they have a lot of problems with the volume level unless Apple's done some firmware update. But do you have any way of looking to, like, do they make any noise to indicate they're in pairing mode?
I only heard like a beeping noise when I first got them out of the box, and trying to pair them to my phone, and I forget what I did, but all of a sudden they paired to the phone. But that's an iPhone.
Because they pair through the cloud with the phone. They don't go through your traditional Bluetooth settings there.
Okay, right.
I wonder, like, if you told their phone to forget the device, that would automatically maybe.
I actually disconnected it, and like I didn't forget it. I disconnected it, and then I hit that transparency noise cancellation button and held it in like they said. But I didn't hear any tone. I think I held it in between like 5 and 10 seconds. And I was going to hold both buttons in, but they said when you do that, that resets the headset. If you hold both the crown and yeah. So
all right.
I don't know.
Any other ideas, anyone? We may have to table this one, Marty.
Okay.
Brad
Good
would
question,
be a
though.
good person to know. Might
Yeah,
know the answer to that.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, we'll table it and
okay.
We'll
Thanks anyway.
Come up with thank you for the question, Marty. Next question, anyone? New question, new caller? Anyone?
This is Shree.
Go ahead, Shree.
I just want to make a correction. In the iPhone, you can't do a speed dial, so I misspoke. So just want to clarify that.
That's good to know.
This is
Everybody would be looking for speed dial tonight. Go ahead, Herbie.
Yeah, the closest thing I would say the iPhone has to speed dial is the favorites tab, where you can add a phone number to that. But unless her dad's in that, then
to me, Siri's a speed dial for us.
Yep.
Pretty much. Or go ahead, Linda.
Getting back to the AirPods, when it makes a sound and your noise is a sound in your ear, is that telling you that the battery is about to go dead? And if so, how long do you have before it goes out?
AirPod users.
Elisa?
Go ahead, Lisa.
Yes, that makes it sound that your battery is low.
Okay. This is Marty.
Oh. Shree and then Marty.
I would suggest you install the battery widget. That'll give you a good indication of the battery level of your AirPods. That's what I use, so that even though you may get a sound, it'll get a number value of how much your battery is left.
Oh, okay.
That's definitely a solution. Marty, do you have anything else?
Yeah, because I have the Pro and now the Max, and I think you get your first tone at 10%. And then I think the max, I think at 5% gives you a tone again just before they go out. But it starts at 10% battery.
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So I think for standard use, assuming you're not in a phone call, I think you get about 15 minutes of battery life after the tone.
Oh.
But phone calls or Zoom calls, I think, deplete the battery life even quicker.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Very good.
This is
Thanks, Linda.
Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
All right, we are at our midpoint,
All
sir.
right, very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Keith. Pretty
Thanks,
busy
everybody.
first. Yeah, thank you. All right, so we are going to give everybody who didn't get a chance to say hello. We had some people slide in. So we'd love to hear from you. Say who you are and where you're from, please. Like to say hello?
Kathy from Tulsa.
Hello, Kathy.
Linda from Humble.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I saw some troublemakers. They're being shy, but it's okay. I might have
Kelsey's
to-
here.
Hey, Kelsey, how are you?
I'm good.
Terry from
Good.
Houston.
Welcome. Terry's here. Welcome. Anybody else? All right. Okay. Well, real quick rundown before we get to the reason we're all here. I know, right? Okay. So tomorrow night, Clubhouse, 5 to 6, all time central. All right, then we have Thursday, Trekkie Talk from 8 to 9:30, watching season 2 of Discovery episodes 1 and 2, starting off the season. Then Saturday, we have iBUG Unplugged on Clubhouse as well, 8 p.m. till whenever it's over, right? Okay, so it's iBUG Unplugged. We're going to be talking about the things I wish I knew when I was younger. So I'm sure that's going to be a long list right there. So please join us for that. That should be lots of fun. Something, not anything involving training. It's just all about getting to know one another. And so I think I'm really looking forward to that. Let's see. Those are the main announcements. We just did a wonderful Apple workshop this past Saturday. We had presentations by David and Keith and Carla all the way from England, and that is up on our website. So encourage you to check it out if you missed it. And we thank you to them for all of their help in preparing for that. All right, so now, let's see, what do we have?
I was just going to say, in
Yes.
case everybody doesn't know, iBUG does have a mascot. And
We do?
she, yes, and she is really enthused about it, iBUG being on Clubhouse, it
Oh,
sounds
is
like.
that what it was?
Yeah.
I think she's trying to answer the door.
Oh, well, that too.
Not the problem. Yes, that's Misha. Okay, sorry about that. I do apologize. Okay, and again, all of our conference calls are on our website, archived under the podcast tab. And then you can also find out about all of our upcoming events under the Who Would Have Thought Event Upcoming tab on our website. And then you can always register on our website so you can get all the notifications. So that's probably the best way. It doesn't cost anything. Just fill out your name and your email and you are ready to go. Okay, now let's see. I think there's something fun happening on Friday. iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. And here's our one and only wonderful, lovely Mr. iBUG Guy. Mr. iBUG Guy, are you there?
The lovely iBUG Guy is here.
Okay.
All
I'm
right,
surprised he
all
didn't come
right.
in to applause.
Into what?
To applause.
I know.
Yes, the applause.
I know. Sadly, he goes
Next
around with
time.
those all the time. Okay, go ahead, Mr. McCulloch. What you got?
Friday. So Friday, of course, is our iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. Join us at 7:30 or even earlier for our pre-movie social. We have lots of fun there, just chit-chatting and playing music game, guessing games, and other fun stuff. Then the movie will start around 8. And then we will have a post-movie social, or not a social, but a discussion. So that's always fun. So it's kind of a social. Anyway, so I want to ask Sister D what the movie is this week.
Yeah, she said she knows what it
She
is.
said she knew at the very beginning of the call tonight.
Without a clue. Independence Day.
Independence Day. How did you guess that? Unfortunately, that is not what we're watching.
That would be too reasonable. Dee, you know us better than that.
I know.
Okay. All right. Let's start with
All
the
right,
clues.
so we're going to do the clues like always. Don't just shout out any titles, say your name, wait to be recognized by me before you guess.
Please.
All right, clue number 1. This one I got while I was taking a shower a little while ago.
Oh dear.
So hopefully this will make sense. Okay, our film this week embraces what?
Okay, keep going.
Our film this week embraces technology while simultaneously making a point about the way it transfixes us and turns us into zombies.
You thought of this while you were in the shower?
I was going to say technology and shower shoes don't go well together.
Get electrocuted. Carol.
Carol, would you like to
Network.
guess? Network. That would have been my guess, but that's not the one we're watching.
Good job, though. Okay.
Good movie. We watch it sometime.
All right.
Yeah, that one is good too.
This is
All
Terry.
right.
Am I allowed to guess?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just kidding. I'm giving Sandhya a hard time.
Okay, go on.
I don't have
Moving
a
on.
guess.
He's
All
not gonna
right.
guess. All right, keep
We're
going.
going to move on to clue number 2. The movie allows us to feel as if we're logging in, clicking and typing right alongside the characters.
Sounds like work.
Jody?
Jody.
Well, first of all, Michael, we didn't get to hear your megaphone. Michael's magic moments and all that kind of stuff. You
Yeah.
got to do that. Okay, you got to do that. Anyway, Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State. Have I seen that movie? Oh, that's irrelevant. No, that's not what we're watching either. But that was a good guess.
Okay.
Thanks for playing.
Was it
All
Shri?
right. 3.
Is it the Terminator?
The Terminator is not the one we're watching.
This is Herbie.
And Herbie.
Is it The Matrix?
The Matrix, one of my favorite all-time movies. That one we're not watching either.
It's so sad.
None of the trilogy or the extra versions of it.
Okay, can we
Okay,
go on?
next.
Go on.
Clue number 3. We are them, and they are us. And everyone needs to put down their iPhones and go outside for a walk. That's the one I made up in the shower. I'm sorry, I mixed them up.
What
This
was
is
that clue
Suva.
again?
Suva.
I don't know much about technology movies. This is interesting, but I don't know. The Social Dilemma. That's the only one I know.
Social Dilemma. That's
Suva's
kinda
favorite
in the
movie, but-
ballpark. No, we're gonna watch that one of these days. We are them and they are us. And everyone needs to put down their iPhones and go outside for a walk. Any other guesses? This is the 3rd clue.
Sri was asking what the clue was, so you just read it to him. And so, okay. Anybody
This is
else?
Shri.
Go ahead.
Mars Attack?
Mars Attack. No, sir. Good try, though.
I hope you're Okay, 2 more clues.
All right, going on. Clue number 4.
It's not boding well.
The family members live busy lives between work and school, and they communicate through text messages and FaceTime.
Bernice,
Go ahead, Bernice.
iRobot.
iRobot. That's a good guess too. There's lots of these kinds of movies, but that's not the one we're watching either.
Great job, Bernice. Good guess.
Thank you, Bernice. Good guess. Very good guess.
This
All
is Sri. Can I
right.
guess?
All right. One more guess from Sri. and He's
Gary.
gonna
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest. You have been banned permanently from playing after that guess. All right, next.
I think Terry had a question.
Yeah, I heard Terry's name.
Well, this would be a wild guess, but I only have eyes for you.
I only have eyes for you. Never heard that one, but
That's going wild, but
Yeah, way wild. Moving
But you're
on.
talking about the eyes, like for iPhone and iOS eyes.
No.
Oh,
all right.
anyways.
Well, that's
Bye,
another
Terry. We'll try again.
Okay.
Come again. Thanks for playing.
Thank you. Don't call us. We'll call you.
All right, this is going to give it away for sure.
I
The
hope
very
so.
last clue. Clue number 5.
Oh, I hope so.
It's a long clue, so
Oh,
bear with me.
Not from the shower.
One night, the usually conscientious daughter fails to come home after her study group. Something that the father does not actually realize until way into the next day, well into the next day. Crickets, man.
Silence of the Lambs.
This is Keith.
Go, Keith.
Cool hand, Luke.
Somebody had to guess. Cool hand, Luke. All right, Keith. Thanks for playing. All right, looks
Kathy?
like we've
Please,
Kathy.
Kathy, save us.
American Girl or American Beauty.
Girl. That's
American
close.
Beauty. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, you could ask Siri to search for this title if you wanted to, but that was another clue, actually. That's my last clue. That's a
Okay.
bonus clue.
I think we're done.
All
I think
right.
you're done.
Sri's last guess.
Is it Taken?
No, not Taken. That's another great movie we'll watch sometime in the future. All right. Our movie this week is. Oops. Shut
Still
up.
doesn't know how
Okay.
to use your
That's my Android back.
That's what
Okay.
happens when you take the phone to the shower.
All right. Our movie this week is Searching. That classic Searching from 2015, 5 years ago.
2018, sir.
Oh, 2018, even more classic.
It's only 3 years ago.
Starring Johnny Cho as the father, and I forgot her name, Michelle La as the daughter, Margot.
Okay.
So we stumped everyone. So Johnny, we don't have to worry about our gift this week. That's good. We had a crummy gift anyway.
Hey, it was not crummy.
But we want to thank everyone for playing Michael's movie music.
Music? I thought it was minutia. All right, all right. Well, very good. All right. Thank you, Mr. McCulloch. And with that, we would love for you to say good night, Mr. McCulloch.
Good night, Mr. McCulloch.
Oh, thank goodness. All right. Very good. Back to our regularly scheduled program. And I failed to mention that today is the 4th Monday of the month. And so for that, we will have the iToy segment where we diverge from our various software issues and talk about hardware. So Herbie's gonna got something for us to talk about at the 9 o'clock hour. So until then, we will entertain various questions. So if somebody new that hasn't had a turn, please step up, say your name, and we would love to hear from you. Anybody new? Jody, go ahead.
I'm almost afraid to admit this, but I'm among friends. What is a widget?
All right, that's a great question. Who would like to talk about what is a widget? Yes, and that is great. It's, there's no such thing as a dumb question, Jody. So good for you. Okay, who would want to explain what a widget is? David? I know David knows what a widget is.
David.
I love you, David. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Well, it's kind of like a I don't know if you call it dumbed down. That's probably a bad term. Kind of a abbreviated version of an app. It just gives you key information. So for example, the weather widget would just give you, say, like the current temperature and maybe the high temperature projected, and it wouldn't give you like the whole 10-day forecast and all that. You'd have to go to full weather app to get more information. And you can put these widgets, anywhere on the screen now. It used to be on a special part of like that first screen that barely people go to. That's
the third screen.
Well, the home, you got your home screen, but then if you swipe left, left to right, there's like another screen that used to have all the widgets, or place you could put the widgets, but now you can put them on any of your screens, and you can make them big or small, or there's a lot of customization you can do now.
Oh, this is Jody again.
All right, go ahead, Jody. Oh, hang on,
Well,
David.
how do you?
Yeah, go ahead, David.
Make a widget?
Okay, how do you make a widget, David? Do you know that?
Well, I mean, some apps support it and some don't. You have to let's see, how would you find that?
All right.
Well, sorry, I've kind of forgotten.
That's okay.
Shri.
That's okay, Shri.
I was just going to say, a widget is kind of it's a widget. It allows you to it tells you information without having to open the app. Like it was talking about the weather app. If you have a weather widget, instead of you go into the weather app and opening it, if you just touch the widget for the weather, VoiceOver is going to tell you what the local weather is, or however you set up a weather app. To really set up a widget, if you edit the home screen on the top right, you have I think you have an add or edit button, and that allows you to open up the widgets. You have a bunch of different widgets to pick from. I mean, they range from weather, battery, to anything in between. There's just a lot to pick from. And then when you select the widget that you want, either it's going to occupy 4 apps, meaning it's going to take 2 rows and 2 columns. This is the smallest widget, and they can go bigger than that, and they can go as big as your one home page or one home screen. That's basically in a very nutshell of what a widget is.
Okay,
all right. Thank you for the question and the explanation.
This
Who's
is Keith.
next? Yes, go ahead.
Also, I found if you do a force touch on the home screen, or a double tap and hold and bring up the context menu on the home screen, you'll go down and find edit home screen. If you double tap there and go all the way to the top of the screen, it will say add widget.
All right, great. Thank you, Keith. Okay, who else has a new question? Some other question that you have? Keeping you up at night, maybe?
Kathy?
Kathy, what's keeping you up at night?
I've had this problem with the Uber app last couple of times. There's 2 problems, but I guess, so the one problem is, so the one time I went in and it said there were no cars available, which sometimes happens now. So I went through the process of making a ride for the upcoming future, which was really like 5 minutes later. And it said it gave me a card, said the person's name, and then put me back on the main screen, I guess, and I waited a few minutes. And I got nothing. Like I wasn't on a screen where I could get. It used to be it would give you messages, and it still does sometimes. Like it'll say, you know, the driver's nearby or finishing a call nearby, but he'll be on his way. But I wasn't in that screen, and so I wanted to know, did it all work out? I mean, did I actually still have the ride? Is it on its way? Because I wasn't hearing anything from Uber. And I went into previous rides, and there was nothing there. And then my husband, I was freaking out about it, and he was saying, well, you have to press previous rides and it'll show you all the rides, which makes no sense to me. But I pressed the previous ride key and I got future rides, and it said there's no rides in the future. So he went ahead and got a ride on his phone because mine didn't seem like there was a ride. And then when it got time for my ride, it said, boom, boom, driver here. And so, so then my husband had to cancel his ride and we took the first one. But does anybody know, so is there any way to get kind of status when it's not showing you any status?
All right, great question. As we emerge, who has issues or experience about with Uber not getting feedback? Anybody?
Terry Walker.
Yes, sir.
So is your push notification disabled? Are you getting any notification telling you about the rides situation?
Well, that may be because after Clubhouse was giving me so many things, I did something with that once, maybe. So is push notification connected with the app, or is it connected with stop giving me so many notifications?
And in this case, it would be with the Uber app. If you know, sometimes that might have a way of letting you know when your ride's approaching and that sort of thing. I know that's true with other apps as well, not to mention the Clubhouse, but other apps as well.
But you would have had to have specifically enabled or disabled. I mean, the app will ask you, do you want notifications, unless you go back and change it later, right? But usually when you first install it, I think it'll say, do you want to get push notifications, I believe. So
yeah, I get kind of mixed up with that. And it says like all the time or sometimes or so, but you go into settings and then go under the app itself and then look for how you want your notifications, right?
Right. Yes. Particularly if you haven't set in the app, and then sometimes it would, like it would say use your local what do they call it? And then you'll have the opportunity to use while using the app, or just use once. That way you'll be getting your notifications when your cabs are coming.
Right.
And so forth.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
This is Keith.
Go ahead.
Another place you can check is the in settings, go to notifications, and it will list each of your apps there, and you can also go and see how that is set and just make sure that that's not turned off as well.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Kathy. Anybody else? Final thoughts about the Uber app?
This is Sri.
Go ahead.
I haven't used the Uber app for a while now, but before I used to do a 4-finger single tap on the bottom of the screen to get me the driver information. Do you know if you tried that?
Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't there. I had trouble. I don't know why somehow I have trouble with that app. Like, I think it changes the prompts that it gives you. Like sometimes it puts things in different places, but I could be crazy. So I couldn't find where it said anything about the driver, but that's a good thing to try, the 4 fingers. So the driver stuff is at the bottom of the screen? usually? Because
This is Sri.
Yes, sir.
The last time I used it, I recall it being in the bottom because I would always four finger single tap on the bottom and it would tell me that the driver is, 5 minutes away, the driver is 4 minutes away.
seems like it's gotten some new, like the main screen is this screen that says menu, and I was back at that. Like it was like I was gonna make a new ride. If I pressed anything, it was like the first screen. I don't know, but I'll check that too. That's good.
Okay. Well, good luck, Kathy, and let us know how
Susan?
it turns out. Go ahead, Susan.
Yes, I've been asking this question a lot with a couple of people. Can someone tell me what badges and what's the other word, tags or something? What are those and how do they work? What are they for?
All right, great question, Susan. Who would like to explain badges and banners? Anybody?
If no one, I can take badges if you want to do banner Sri.
Okay, go ahead, Keith.
Okay, so badges, what badges do for you is, let's take the messages app, for example. If you have badges turned on, when you put the focus on your messages app, it will give you the number of unread messages. So anything that it updates on that specific app, it will put a number on that app on the home screen, just so you know there's some activity going on there. Just some notice of activity.
Thank you, Keith and Sri. You want to talk about banners?
So basically a banner is and they usually have, like I've set mine as temporary. So when I get a temporary banner, it's just a verbiage that's on the top of the screen that's kind of identifying what the event is. Like, for example, if it's a meeting, it might say it's time for your iBUG call or something. Then I'll get a banner on top of my screen reminding me of that meeting. And mine is set to temporary, so for a while it'll pop up, and then you can either dismiss it or you can activate it. But it's just a way of notifying you of an event that is occurring on top of your screen.
All right, and just for the sake of completeness, I mean, the other these are all forms of notification. So the other one is sounds, so you can also get notifications with a sound. All right, so go ahead, Susan.
How do you turn off that sound? Because that was a question that I was asking about recently in Clubhouse, and I did what someone said to do, like go in the rotor and all that, but everything that was told me, it didn't work. So, and yeah, I would like to have that thing dismissed also from coming up, especially during Sunday school meetings. It's interrupting things, and turn off the sound.
This is Keith.
Go ahead, Keith.
Well, before we get into the actual how do you turn the sound off, I just want to make the clarification. The sounds that you're referring to in the rotor actually control the sounds that the iPhone that VoiceOver makes for us, like the swoosh sound when we're sending an email or different clicks and stuff. That's the sounds that are in the rotor. They have nothing to do with the notification sounds, and I'll let it go there. Give somebody a chance to talk about the notification sounds.
Yeah, I use my iPad most of the time. So,
and one thing I will say about the notifications, it's you can do all three, or you can do the different notifications individually. So you have that customization available.
To dismiss the reminder. Okay.
Susan, just out of curiosity, can you just specify one thing that so I can narrow down and kind of tell you where to go? I don't want to give you the gambit of things. Just if you can just tell me one app that you're getting a notification, and I'll tell you where to go.
Well, that's like asking me what did I do yesterday. Well, I'll just throw out
You mentioned Clubhouse, so that might be a good one.
Yeah, I'll throw that one out. There's others too. It could be Uber or I don't know, whatever. And it says sound, and it has a button on it. But anyway, that's it.
There's a Shree.
Go ahead, Tree.
So Susan, just to give you an example, let's just say we take Uber, for example. So if you go to settings and you flick all the way down towards the end, which will be Uber, way down at the bottom. If you double tap that, then you can go into the settings of the app and you have some options for how you want to be notified. That gives you the option for the banner, sounds, and I believe the badges there too. And you can either disable it or enable based on how you want to be notified.
Okay, one more real fast question, and then I'm gonna let it go. I have been flooded with Clubhouse things, waking me up and going through it all night. So I finally had to go in there and put it on pause and also disable it in settings and whatchamacallit. So instead of doing all that with banners and I can't think of the other word now, those two badges with those.
Yeah, you have sounds, badges, and banners in your notifications.
This is Dave.
Oh,
Go ahead, David.
What? Yeah.
Well, I know we're running out of time to really go further in this, but you might want to look into turning on, setting up your do not disturb settings, because I have mine set to mute at 11 p.m. and not come on till like 6 a.m. or something like that. So when I lock my phone, I don't get any notifications from anything, unless I guess if there's some kind of emergency phone call that would come through. But all my regular app notifications are muted during that time period.
Yeah,
That's
I know
what you
what
need to
that
do.
is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, mine is working the best. Just put it on pause and disable it.
Well, I don't know what pause is, but I know what do not disturb is.
So Susan,
that's a good feature.
All right, thank you very
so
much.
Susan,
we can go over that next time.
Yeah. So what David's saying is you can turn all the notifications off, or you can just use do not disturb if you want to have those notifications stay the way they are, and just have do not disturb on when you do not want to have any of those notifications.
On that particular iOS device, right? Like on the iPad.
Right. Do not disturb is all. It will put everything on hold.
Including
you have to do each
phone
device
too.
separately.
Okay.
You have to do your iPhone, they're all separate. They're not unified. You do it on each device.
Right. That's what I
each
thought.
device.
Okay, thanks, y'all. Appreciate it very much. Have a good night, everybody.
Yes, Jody.
Go ahead, Sandhya. Are you there?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Go ahead, Jody. Please go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know if Susan's still there, but I think one thing she's missing is if you go to notifications and then go down the list to Clubhouse and open the Clubhouse listing there, then you can turn the notifications off completely for Clubhouse.
Okay.
Yes,
there you go.
I did that too. Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody. Okay, now we're going to have our quick iToys segment with Herbie. We're going to master mute, and then we will, following his presentation, we'll have questions, and then we will, whatever time remaining, we'll continue with our question and answer. Okay, so just hold tight. All right. Herbie, welcome to you. Are you able to unmute?
All right.
There you are. All right. What do we got for tonight?
So today we got something interesting. I may have talked about this once before, but it's worth bringing up again. This is the Lightning to Camera adapter. Now, don't let the name fool you because it is a multi-purpose tool, and I'm going to describe what it looks like first. So the brand I got is Belkin, but this is like several years old, and when I was looking on Amazon, I did see quite a number of these ranging from like $13 to $39. I do recommend the $39 one because that one actually is made by Apple. But it is, so on the one side, it looks like your charger cord. It's kind of has a stiff wire, and this plugs into the charging port of your iPhone or most iPads, with the exception of the USB-C ones. And then the other side, I've got two ports here. I've got a standard USB-A port, and then I've got a charger port. And this is important because what the charger port does is it will allow you to charge the phone while using an external device other than and the problem you run into is, like, at least I run into, is a lot of my thumb drives, even just the basic thumb drives, the phone, when I plug it in, the phone will go, oh, not enough power for this accessory, try again. But once I plug it in to the charger port, then it works like a charm. And so even though it was designed for cameras, you can plug in quite a number of things. You can plug in a thumb drive. You can plug in a much larger external hard drive. I have actually plugged in like a terabyte one that was a couple years old, and it works just fine. And I'm going to talk about how you access that in a minute. I've also been able to successfully plug in USB headphones, which can really make you sound good. They do not work on Clubhouse, though, I will tell you that. That's the only, that is one downside, but they would work on like Zoom and whatnot. And you can even plug in a USB keyboard. If you don't want to use Bluetooth, you can actually plug in a keyboard to this little dongle device, and it just is plug and play. You don't have to do anything special, and make sure the keyboard's on if it's one of those that has an on switch, and you're good to go. So very simple device, but can be a very powerful tool. All right, so what do you do now if you want to access a thumb drive with this? So I'm going to plug my phone in to, we're going to plug this adapter into my phone.
64% charged. One notification.
Okay, and let's turn that up a little bit so you can hear it.
2107.
All right, so it's not telling me the time. So right now, I do not have anything plugged in to this device.
Social folder. 10 apps.
But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a thumb drive.
7 new items. Social folder. Speech off.
Okay, you can be quiet for the moment there. And I'm going to plug in to the USB port on the thing. Now, I'm going to really invest in some newer ones because the one I was looking at today, I saw that it had like, there was one with 4 ports. So I have no idea yet what that looks like, but that definitely sounds interesting. All right.
Characters.
So I've plugged in the thumb drive. Now, the first thing you notice is the lack of audible feedback. There was no vibration, nothing. You just have to assume it's working. I don't know if anything shows up visually or not.
Braille screen input.
So now I'm going to open the Files app.
Portrait. Opening files. Files. Browse back button.
And I've got a Browse back button, so we're going to go to the main screen here.
Heading. Search locations button heading.
And the first thing you see is locations. You want to make sure that is expanded.
On my iPhone. iCloud Drive. Dropbox. USB disk.
USB disk. There you go. That is my thumb drive.
Recently deleted.
And then you've got the other stuff in the Files app. So if I double tap this.
Selected. A seller oral presentation. /10.
And now I'm actually literally seeing the files that are on my hard drive.
SA3 doc. SA3 rewrite. Exam 2 SA. Extra credit. Hawaii questions. Herbie Allen worksheet. Herbie Lab February 5th. His 3,390 quiz answers. His 3,390.9.17.18.
And I can open any of these files.
His 3,390 quiz answers. Docs.
We'll open these quiz answers, and it just opens when I double tap.
Herbie app. Hist 3,000 part 1. Yes. Although there are some differences in phrasing, the text is similar enough.
And there you go. And I'm reading the file, all from an external hard drive plugged into the camera adapter on my phone. How cool is that?
Students, Lyndon Johnson School Days for App Switcher. 5 App Switcher.
And then when I'm done, I just close out the Files app, and then I can unplug the device or just unplug the drive, whichever I want. I don't think there's an eject option. I haven't seen one, but
2110.
okay, now I've unplugged the device. Again, you do not get an audible notification if anything's plugged into or not, but if it is a much larger hard drive than the standard thumb drive, of course, you will get, the drive itself vibrating if it's an older model that does that. And like I said, other things that you can plug into it, USB headphones, those were pretty much plug and play. I plugged them in and they worked. I could make use of both the headset and the microphone. So that is another way you can use, if you have a specific pair of headphones that you really like for your device. I can plug in my Yeti microphone, but it hijacks it to where I actually have to plug in a pair of headphones into the microphone itself just to be able to hear anything. And so sometimes plugging external devices can make it a little bit clunky. And we'll have a little bit of impact on your battery, but if some things don't require the power cord. I don't think the keyboard does, for instance, but it does come with that charger port, so you can have it just plugged in and getting whatever. The other thing I do want to mention, though, also is that at least in the past, I tried this with one of those portable battery packs, and I don't think it supplied enough power to run the thumb drive on the phone. So you just search for USB camera adapter for iPhone or Lightning USB adapter in Amazon. Like I said, I've seen, several different price ranges now. Back when I got it several years ago, there was only the one. It was from Belkin, which is a really good manufacturer of products. And that Lightning port can also work as a headphone jack as well. So if you're running something that does have enough power that it doesn't need to be plugged in, you can use the ear pods with it, or of course any Bluetooth device if you're not if whatever. So, and with that, it's a very, like I said, it's a very small device. It's, if you've ever seen like the splitters that have like two ports, it kind of looks, it's about that size, maybe a little bit thicker and a little bit wider, but very small. You can take it with you, put it in a bag or whatever if you need to. And there you go. So with that, I will take questions.
This is Shri.
Shri.
Is that support USB 3.0?
The one I saw on Amazon for sure does. It clearly says USB 3.0. Like I said, this one I got 3 years ago, so I'm, you if you're purchasing it now, you'd definitely be getting something newer. But I actually did clearly see on Amazon one that was clearly labeled as saying having USB 3.0 support.
This is Sandhya.
Kirby.
Yeah.
Okay, Sandhya and then Marty.
Marty, yeah, okay. So that was really cool. Okay, so as far as the files that you're accessing, those are all presumably in Word or something, or because it said doc,
Yes.
I think. So
Yes.
you can open those, but okay, great. Okay, thank you.
I do want to mention though, I think I tried seeing if I could extract a BARD file, and I think I did have some problems with that. So I wanted to see if I could get it, download, books onto the hard drive and then transfer them to the phone. But I think those did give me some problems. But
2114.
Okay.
that's a different notification. Okay, Marty.
Yeah. So how long is the cable on this adapter? And when you say a charge port, I mean, like, so do you plug the thumb drive into the USB-A port?
Yes.
And then, so where does it get the power from? Since you said your
Because
phone
you
doesn't
plug
probably
you
have
plug a standard iPhone charger into the charge port.
a standard iPhone. You mean like a lightning cable?
Yes. So
When you say
whatever,
an iPhone,
yes, if you use, a lightning cable to charge your phone, if you have, instead of plugging it into your phone, you plug it into this little device, and then you plug the other end into the lightning port of your phone.
This is Shri.
Okay.
Sure. All right. Well, hold on. Did that answer your question, Marty?
Okay, so nothing gets plugged into the wall or
Well,
to
the
an
lightning
electrical
cord,
outlet?
the lightning cord would still be plugged into the electrical outlet like it normally would be. You're just exchanging it, instead of plugging it directly into the phone, you're plugging it into the device itself. And then you're plugging in your USB-A device into the larger port, and then you're plugging in the other cable, which is about 3 to 6 inches long, into the lightning port of your phone. And so it'll power up your phone and power the device at the same time.
And this is called what? An iPhone camera adapter?
Yeah,
or
lightning
something?
camera, iPhone lightning camera adapter.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
And there's some devices that they just have minimal power that don't even require a plug-in too, and it just depends on the device. But it'll warn you if it needs plugged in. All right, Shri.
Terry with a comment too after
Okay,
Shri.
yep, Shri, and then Terry.
No, I'm done. You explained what he was asking.
Okay. Terry.
Another comment too, because I've got one of the Belkin. It turns one lightning port into two, and it's a great device to have. In other words, I can be charging the iPhone and use the USB to lightning dongle for recording out of or playing onto headphones or speakers or whatever. So that's another device that's very similar to what you have with the lightning port and the USB port.
Yep.
This is Sandhya.
Sandhya, yes.
Okay, now I'm getting confused. I mean, I have one of those splitters. So how is this? I mean, I'm missing something. I mean, I know they're totally different, but how is this different from the splitter?
So the splitter is designed to allow you to do, like, say, use your iPhone charger and maybe your ear pods at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
But mine is, it's the same shape, but one of the ports is larger because it's designed to run a standard USB device, like a hard drive, thumb drive.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank
that
you. I
make
was
sense?
just getting a little confused. Okay.
Yes.
Appreciate
This
it.
Kathy.
Kathy, yes.
So when you're looking at the file, what kind of program are you in then or what kind of app are you in on the phone? Is it just reading a document, or you can't edit it when you're there? Can you?
Yes, okay, great question. So in this case, it was just looking at the document in read-only mode, but if you have Word on your phone, or if you have Pages or another app that lets you edit Word documents, then you could, and I want to say you can. Now, whether you can actually save back to the drive, well, if it lets you save into files, then I'd have to actually, that's a great question. I should actually double check to make sure you can do that through a thumb drive. I want to say you can, but I will double check that one just to be sure.
Terry with a comment as well.
Terry.
Another thing too. Now there's several different browsers. You mentioned files. There's another one called File Explorer, FE for short. And I guess based upon the way your iPhone is configured, it does have its own dock reader, but you can also play files from it. Of course, the magic of FE is that you can also log into your home network and get stuff directly from your computer if it can handle that. So that's another.
All right. So that's a good little app you could use in conjunction with this. I'll have to check that out.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
All right, that was pretty cool. Herbie, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I bought, like I probably told you, I bought one a couple of months ago, and I wanted to try it with the Blue Yeti. So thanks for the cautionary instruction to plug in some headphones into it. But all right, very good. Thank you, Herbie. Okay, so we are back. Anybody else have any final questions for Herbie, or any other questions that we have just in general for your iPhone or apps that you didn't get to ask so far?
This is Ned.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This goes back to another discussion. How do you disable on the phone?
How do
on
you
the iPhone?
enable How do you?
Somebody was saying, just disable your phone, or no, do not disturb. That's it. Do not disturb.
Oh,
How do you
great.
enable do not disturb?
Great question. Who would like to explain that for Ned? Anybody?
Kelsey?
Kelsey, go ahead.
Sure, there's a couple ways you can enable do not disturb. One way is depending on which phone are you using, just so I know how to describe it.
I have an iPhone 7 Plus.
Okay, so the first way and the easiest way is to go into the control center. So what you'll do is you'll touch the top of the screen to bring focus to the status bar. And once you're focused on the status bar, then you swipe up with 3 fingers, and that brings up what's called your control center, which has a variety of options in there for Bluetooth, airplane mode, Wi-Fi, things like that. If you flick down or flick to the right, it's probably, I don't know, like 8 flicks. You'll come to an option that says do not disturb, and it's a toggle. So if you double tap on it, it will turn it on. And if you double tap on it again, it will toggle it off. And the other way is you can also go into settings, and there is an option in settings for do not disturb that you can toggle, and you can set in settings, you can set up a schedule do not disturb where, for example, your phone will go into do not disturb from, let's say, 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., which is how I have mine set. And one final way is you can also tell Siri to turn on do not disturb. Now, if you use Siri to enable do not disturb, you cannot tell Siri to turn off do not disturb. You have to turn that off either in control center or going into settings.
Okay,
This
thank
is
you.
Herbie.
All right, go ahead, Herbie.
Yeah, I've been able to tell Siri to turn off my do not disturb.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, thank you, Kelsey. That was great. Very comprehensive, lots of different ways. So Ned, after that, you will never be disturbed again, right? So
Hooray.
good deal. Thank you, Kelsey. Good job.
You're welcome. Now do I get something for free now?
Yeah, right. A free iPhone. Yeah, sure.
Oh, come on. Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Virtually. Okay.
You're lucky. Then where's my iPhone SE 2020?
All right. Very good.
Jody
Okay,
with
Jody,
another comment.
question? Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say, if you toggle something using Siri, sometimes they're, like, for example, if you say Siri invert colors, she'll say, okay, inverting colors. And then to turn it off, you say Siri, turn off invert colors, and then it brings up a screen which says invert colors, and then you do a 1-finger double tap on the toggle to turn it off. So the same thing is true with do not disturb. If you try telling Siri to turn on do not disturb, and if you tell her to turn off do not disturb and it doesn't work, then you can do it that way. So you have 2 different ways that you can turn it off with Siri.
Right. And sometimes if you forgot that you already, so for example, you had it enabled and then you're ready to, turn it off or whatever it is, she'll tell you, it's like, well, it's already off, I almost feel like she's saying, yeah, you dingbat, it's already off. But anyway, so no, she didn't say that. I said that. But so yeah, there's lots of good options, and do not disturb is a very important function. And then just for the sake of completeness, there are different ways to tailor what actually can come through. If you have favorites, maybe all the people that are in your favorites can come through, or if you get a repeated call while do not disturb is on, if it's like, I think 3 calls or 2 calls within a certain amount of time, then that will come through because it presumes that that's something important. But you can also enable or disable those features as well. All right. So good question, Ned. Thank you. All right. Somebody new question? New problem?
This is Carrie.
Go ahead, Carrie.
This is Hey, so I'm having some issues with my emails. When I read the emails, some of them just read normal, which I love, but other emails read like a table format. Is there any way to have all your emails read that way, or is it based on the way the person sends it to you?
Great question. Who has some help for Carrie? Emails as
Terry
tables.
with a comment.
Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, it actually depends upon how people send email to you. If they're sending an attachment or even not so much of an attachment, it would come out in a table format. And there's no way that it all depends upon the way the email comes to you, how they send it. So that's, I mean, that's in a nutshell, that is the question, a good question. And that's the answer for it. And I'll leave everybody else for a follow-up.
All right. Thank you, Terry. Any other thoughts about that? I don't know if I've ever gotten an email in a table I'm trying to think back. Anybody else had table emails?
This is Herbie.
Herbie, go ahead,
The
please.
only emails I can think of that might come in a table form are ones that are encoded in like HTML, which you might see if the email has like a bunch of links or whatever. So are you seeing like personal emails in the table format, or are they like business type emails?
They're mainly business. And I think what's happening,
what I
to be
thought.
honest, is people are typing an email, then they insert something, and then they go in and finish typing the email out. So when it comes back to me, when it reaches our insert, it reads into a table format.
Yeah, that's because a lot of businesses do a lot of interesting things like that to, because of links or images and whatnot. So
This is Kathy.
Go ahead, Kathy, please.
That reminds me of sometimes it's when people, I'm not sure if it's when you get like a list and it'll have like 4 messages and it'll say message 1, close, message 2, close, message 3, or collapsed. Maybe it says collapsed.
Yes, collapsed. Yeah.
And I never know. I mean, sometimes I don't know which one is the one you want to read, or if you want to read the last one, which is most recent, or if I never know how to read those things. I don't know if it's the same thing because it's kind of a table.
This is Dan.
Dan, go ahead.
Yeah. What works for me, you're talking about those groups IO messages. And I've found what works for me is just when you first encounter it, before you open it, in the actions menu, expand the thread. You use that option, expand the thread, and then go down to the very bottom message of the whole thread where the person says, somebody tell me about blah, blah, blah. So you start with the very bottom one and then move up through all after you have expanded the thread. That's my comment.
Oh, thank you, Dan. All
This
right.
is Ned.
Yes, sir.
Is this what we're talking about in terms of some of my emails? It'll say like heading level 1, column 2. As I'm going through my email, it tells me where I am. Is this what you're all talking about?
So Carrie, let's go back to what Carrie, okay, so there's 2 different things going on here. Kathy is talking like about threading and maneuvering through different messages within a thread, right, Kathy?
Okay.
That's what you're talking about. That's what that's called, threading. Okay, and the preferences. I have to check out whether I'm pretty sure you could tailor how how they're displayed, because I mean I'm sure it's similar to regular email, but I don't know that for a fact. I'll check that out. But Carrie's question is about the table format. So is that what it's telling you, Carrie? Like what Ned is describing, column 1, column 2 kind of thing? Is that what it is? That's what you're hearing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Ned, have you had any solutions to fix that? Or
Well, I remember one time being at an Apple tutoring session here in the Austin area, and my phone was doing that, and the trainer said, this bothers me, and I can turn this off for you, but he never did, and it bothered him, but I didn't say anything about bothering me. But anyway, Is there a way you can turn that off, or do we need to have that because it helps you navigate your email when it says column 1, heading 2 or whatever it's saying to me?
Okay, so I guess we don't really know how to do that. That's what I think Carrie's question is, right?
Yes,
How to
how do
get rid
you-
of it? We don't know
Yeah.
how to get rid of it. Go ahead.
There is and I'm not sure if this is tied to, because I never heard this, but there is in the rotor a table option. Do you know if you enable or turn that on or off? Does that may make a difference?
Well, this is Sandhya. I think that just helps you, like, I mean, if you're in a table, you can go down the row, but I've never done that in an email. It makes sense. I mean, Terry, Carrie, would it, are you able to maneuver in that table email, or it must be really hard to understand?
Yeah, it's just difficult to understand, but I'm going to go in and try to disable it just to kind of play around with it, just to see what happens.
Right. Try I don't know if you may already have this, add the table option, like what Sri was mentioning, to your rotor, and then maybe try to see if you can navigate any better that way. I don't know if that'll help or not, but okay.
This is Sri.
All right. I'll give
Sri.
it a shot.
No, yeah. Okay, go ahead, Sri.
Just one other thought. You said this was basically coming from work emails. I know a lot of these auto signatures, employers have these logos and all these things. Do you know if that's causing it?
No, it's more like you can really tell when somebody inserts like something inside of an email, and that's when it really seems to pop up the most, is when they insert something.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? That is going to have to be the last word, guys. So thank you to Keith and everybody that helped us out with all the great questions and answers. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, Herbie, for that demo. Got to go get my device out and try it out. So real quick, tomorrow, Clubhouse at 5 o'clock, Trekkie Talk on Thursday at 8 o'clock, movie, iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. We're going to be watching that classic, Searching. It's going to be an exciting thriller. Lots of technology involved. I think it'll be perfect for our crowd here. So please come for that. It's a great movie. Then iBUG Unplugged, as if we weren't already crazy enough on this call. It's going to be even more fun on Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Clubhouse. And then we'll be back here celebrating 4th of July on Monday, July 5th. So please join us for that. And we will see you next week. Check out our website. Go visit the upcoming tab to find out what's coming up. And with that, we will bid you farewell and good night and have a great week. And thank y'all. Bye-bye.
Oh, a last comment before you go. I'll take the 5th on that one.
Okay, take the 5th. All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.